All right, hope everyone's doing well. I don't usually listen to that type of like what do they call it, like stadium rock or I don't know what like White Rat and Quiet Riot. I don't really listen to that music. I don't mind it. I enjoy it when it's good, and I think it's funny that it's like so like over the top, um, rock and roll or the aesthetics of that era is very like hardcore or whatever the fuck, and then most of their songs are just like love ballads or whatever you call that. So I always find that humorous that the aesthetics didn't match the lyrics, and that's so I was at the barber shop, and my barber went to a new location, and I don't know if y'all saw, but like the back of it was bad for a cool minute. So I'm like, all right, finally get a little taper going on, and this new spot doesn't play music as I don't know, like his old spot. I really enjoyed the music, and yeah, hair metal. Thank you. Yeah, and the hair's down. Yeah, and so I really liked the old spot because of the music they played, and I was consistently trying to like Shazam songs or whatever, like look them up while not trying to really like cause too much of a disturbance while he's cutting my hair. And this time, like it was very generic music, and but there's this one song, something along the lines of like someday maybe or like maybe someday. What I do know is that the album glam, yeah, glam metal, yes. The album was like a red. It was like red with like a person. Mind you, I didn't have my glasses on either, so that doesn't help. But it was like a person, kind of like I don't know, like their top torso, I guess, their face, arm, and shoulder. And it was black and white. Sorry, black and red, mainly red. So if anyone can help me out, I'd appreciate it. I know that's not much to work with. But it was like something along the lines like maybe some night or maybe someday you could spend the night or something like that. But it was more. It wasn't at all this genre. It was like more, um, like whatever like alt is for like the Cure, Maisie Star, like that kind of like vibe. But it wasn't the Cure because I looked up and there's a song that is very similar in name that was the Cure. It's not the Cure. Anywho, here we go. By the way, you called me autistic devil last night. It's oh, like Devi, as in goddess. Ah, is it Devi or Devi? Interesting. That's hilarious. Devi. I don't know why I'm doing this. Oh, like divine? Oh no, it's a Sanskrit word for goddess. Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you so much. Keeping the Twitch chat alive over there. Appreciate ya. Hair metal, yes. Karaoke Thursdays. No, I don't know. It was mind you, like I'm hearing the machine and the music wasn't too loud, thankfully. But it's something along the lines of like, and this is like over an hour ago, and I can't remember how it goes, but it's something about like maybe someday you'll spend the night or something along those lines. But it's a very kind of like I'm telling you, the Cure, kind of very mellow vibe, very Maisie Star, kind of like very um, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. TGE Classic Rock Station. My grandpa plays in the car. That's awesome. Mid 60s is young for a grandpa, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. BT, I sent you an invite on Discord. I don't know what's going on there. BT's just handing out invites. No, no, I'm kidding. He's they are sorry, they BT is just starting like a black market underground kind of thing going on. It was not Bon Jovi. It was I'm telling you, it was more like The Cure than whatever I just played. But because I was looking this up and driving back. I just let it fucking rock out. I was like, fuck yeah. Okay. Yeah, somebody asked about I'm the Fed. Somebody asked about Bad Faith with FD. And I know that's playing right now. I'm not comfortable like pulling it up right now. Because oh, this is a good guess. I don't think this is it, but this is a good guess in terms of the album cover. But I'm telling you, it was red. Like it was red and black. But let's see. Let's see. No. What's this was name? Y'all are gonna see what I'm listening to these days. Okay, I cannot waste time doing this. Sorry. I just gotta know though. You can go. Not at all. I will say this was closer to it. So this is what started my like, I guess hair metal afternoon. Maybe Someday by Great White. Amazing fucking track. All right. We're not starting with this. We're gonna start with something a little bit more light, more fun, more enjoyable. It's so good. It's so good. Two Zionist Jews walk into a bar. And they both claim not to be Zionists. No, it's not that. No, but that's a pretty good guess as well. And I'll move on from this afterwards. Thank you, Vic, so much. No, it's pretty good, but no. It's more just the torso. And it's in black and white. I'm pretty sure it's like the arm, the elbow, like coming across, and like them turning this way. I keep saying black and white. It's red and black. It's a whole lot more red than this. I can't remember. But Stone Temple Pilots, pretty decent band. All right. Let's get it together. All right. Let's get started. All right, y'all. Two Zionist Jews walk into a bar and... No, I'm just kidding. Do me a favor, y'all. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell if you know. Who told me to do this live? It's so obnoxious. I'm not good at it. It feels fake, you know? Let me switch this out over here. All right. I'll try again. See if it pops up. All right. From the top. Two Zionist Jews walk into a bar. Do me a favor, y'all. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when I go live. Support the channel through super chats. And better yet, check out the Patreon. $2 gets you access to the Discord where we have the unofficial book club on Saturdays. They're currently on Meditations on Finance Wretched of the Earth. They also have the article Sundays, so check that out. And if you want to help support without anyone skimming off the top, hit up the Cash App Deculturation on everything. I appreciate it. Let's get started with this hard-hitting interview. Sam Seder holding his Zionist brethren accountable, liberal Zionists, pardon, and asking the tough questions. Why didn't Bernie Sanders endorse Hung, who lost by just a mere couple thousand votes? I mean, Bernie Sanders could have been, the tiebreaker there, or at least enough to push her over the line. It wasn't a tie. I don't know why I said tiebreaker.
You had a full slate. I mean, there's still folks who are running of endorsers, of endorsees, I guess I should say, going forward. And I'm really fascinated by as we're watching this movement grow, and watching more people get elected, sharing these same issue sets. How do you calculate, where are you going to place endorsements and where not? I mean, we just had Francesca Hong lose by a hair in Wisconsin, and impossible to know, exactly whether an endorsement from you or AOC would make a difference. But how do you, and I keep using the example of that game Risk, which I played as a kid, where...
Oh, man. Look, I didn't get this far to the actual interview. This is pathetic, man. This is so fucking sad. Now, mind you, if you go back to Emma Vigeland interviewing Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez in studio, you see the a very similar structure of questions being asked, where within the question, they're giving them an out. The question initially seems like it's going to be if not hard hitting, something that's going to, hold them accountable to their lack of solidarity, which we'll get more of that in a bit. And as the question continues, it becomes more and more friendly, and within it are built-in excuses or off-ramps of the subject. So how do you choose who to endorse and who not to endorse? And then instead of just asking that directly, why didn't you help her win when it was just a hair, just a little hair, right? And instead of just ending the question there, he's like, because I'm sure it must be difficult. And there's a lot of things going in, a lot of factors, a lot of variables. And, like when I was a kid, I used to play this game called Risk. And then in a similar way, board game and real politics. And, you're not DSA, but you kind of birthed the DSA and you're a Zionist. So why am I not asking about that? Right? Sam Seder is so devoted and concerned about saving Judaism from Zionism without getting off his fucking ass. Why not focus on that? That's old news. It's old news. Does not hold Bernie Sanders accountable for being a Jewish supremacist. Not at all. So let's make this easy and ask about Risk. Always think about how they structure these questions, right? Think about how they structure these questions. And even like the weird body stuff, like very performative throughout. We'll start from the top again, because I think this is important. And look how awkward and uncomfortable he is asking this question, because he's afraid that it might come off a little too aggressive.
You had a full slate. I mean, there's still folks who are running of endorsers, of endorsees, I guess I should say, going forward. And I'm really fascinated by as we're watching this movement grow, and watching more people get elected, sharing these same issue sets. How do you calculate, where are you going to place endorsements and where not? I mean, we just had Francesca Hong lose by a hair in Wisconsin, and impossible to know, exactly whether an endorsement from you or AOC would make a difference.
Impossible to know whether an endorsement from Bernie Sanders or Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez would have made a difference. No, that is fucking preposterous. Like that, I mean, how gullible is his audience? That's like acceptable. Like that's so ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying that like that would have been the deciding factor for Hung losing or winning. But without question, having Bernie Sanders and Alejandra Ocasio Cortez, both like the old guard and original face of this movement to save the Democratic Party, and Alejandra Ocasio Cortez, who's being pushed as a potential 2028 presidential candidate, and the numbers are looking good, and you can say that it's impossible to know. It's just impossible to know. Like you need to be some type of like just time traveler to give us a something better than impossible. That's ridiculous, man. Then if it's so impossible to know whether that would have been the difference of a couple thousand votes, why even ask about the endorsement? If it's so impossible to know whether fucking Bernie Sanders and AOC would have made a difference. Now you can say it's impossible to know whether or not that would have been the deciding factor, but for sure it would have been like a game changer. It's why everyone is desperate for an endorsement from these liberal Zionists, because they're the face of the future of the Democratic Party. Mind you, Bernie's like what, 80 something? But yeah, we'll just never know. It's impossible. There's no way of knowing.
Exactly whether an endorsement from you or AOC would make a difference. But how do you
Would make a difference. Would make a difference. Wow. Sorry. I'm just astonished at the padding of this question.
like, and I keep using the example of that game Risk, which I played as a kid, where you don't move to Kamchatka until you have enough on Irkutsk or something. Like, how do you calibrate that?
I'm sorry. Who the fuck gets that reference? I don't think I ever played Risk. I'm sorry. We're playing fucking Loteria. I mentioned last time Turista. I don't think that there was an equivalent to Risk that I ever played growing up. I can't think of it. Who the fuck gets that reference? Chat, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what the fuck does that mean. Obviously, I can context clues and all this shit. But it seems like you would need a pretty broad example if you're asking, Bernie Sanders a question to where you want your audience to understand, the comparison that you're making here. I don't know, man. It's just so unnecessary and almost like on purpose to use such a it's not obscure or niche because Risk is such a popular game. It's such a popular game, but like how many people are actually playing it? How many people are actually playing Risk right now? The youth, the kids, the youngsters. Oh shit, man. God damn. Okay. Canicas, for sure. That was a lot of fun.
That's a good question. And it's something that we in our political movement think about a whole lot. I think for a start, we don't want to overextend ourselves and promise more than we can provide. So we take, and second of all, I am a United States Senator. Am I familiar with the agricultural problems facing farmers in Wisconsin? I am not. Do I know something about what's going on nationally? I do. So for a start, most of our focus, with a few exceptions, has been on U.S. Senate races, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, maybe elsewhere, and congressional races, a lot of congressional races. Also, we have supported dozens and dozens of what we call down ballot candidates, people running literally for school board, city council, mayor, state legislature. Why are we doing that? And that is to create, in a sense, a farm team. These are the young people who 10, 20 years from now will be national leaders. And we want to help them get elected, get the experience that they need. And then furthermore, when we look at a campaign, for example, you got
Okay, it didn't do it. It didn't switch. It didn't switch. My bad. Okay. So I'm gonna be just give me a second here, because it's gonna sound like I agree with him, but I'm not buying this. I had a chance to ask Claudia de la Cruz from the PSL when she was running for president. Why, or excuse me, no. The question was, is there a parallel strategy to take over school boards, right? If one of the main focus that we should have is education. God damn it, bro. There's no fucking way. I'm sorry, y'all. There's no fucking way this is happening. I'm sorry, y'all. This has been a lot of shit has been going on. My I got a refurbished iPad quite a bit ago, and yeah, like it's not working right now. So that's why I didn't have a thumbnail for the edited live stream that I posted on the Deculturation Live channel. And I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. That can wait. I'm going to go take care of that on Saturday. And now my phone, the charging port on the bottom hasn't worked for the longest. And so I've been charging it wirelessly or yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And now it's not charging consistently with that. And so now there's no way of me charging my phone if this is actually completely fucking up. I'm hoping that it's just something else going on right now. But you know what it is? It's a lot of stupid little shit. It's a lot of little small shit, right? That are just super annoying and normally wouldn't be that big of a deal. But last month was pretty rough, so I'm just like, can we just pause for a second and just let me catch up? Let me get my shit together. Is that possible? Again, not a big deal. Not a big deal. I really want to communicate that it's not, none of this is a big fucking deal. Again, just a lot of little small annoying shit. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Fuck, man. Give me a second. I'm hoping that it's just the charging pad that I have and not the phone. So I just pulled out like the wireless pack. All right. My bad. Ni modo, honestly, it just saves my mental health. That's my therapy right there. Ni modo. All right. It's nonsense. You know, it's nonsense. It's fine. Hutzlin? Hutzlinif? I sincerely appreciate that. Like, believe me, I sincerely appreciate that. People have offered to help out. I will never allow that to happen if I'm not in a place where I can offer proper financial compensation. I just can't. I can't like physically do that. Believe me, I am not skilled at making thumbnails, right? But it's just I can't. It's not that I don't want the help. It's not that I won't accept the help. Is that like I just think that it should be. I think we're fine. I think we're fine. I think we're good. Okay. I think we're good. I think it's just the charging thing that I was using, or maybe the wire that was connected to it, because it hasn't stopped charging here. All right, fine. Again, it's nonsense. My apologies for derailing. It's just that my phone was about to die, and I kept noticing that it was like going off and on. All right. Bro is building a cult the wrong way. I mean, that's a big goal of mine. You know what I mean? Like, not to build a cult, but like to try and maintain a level of mutual respect on both ends. And when I see people like Hassan Piker, Georgie, even Sam Cedar, last time Sam Cedar brought his son again into the studio. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, this is a political show. There's no reason for you to bring your child here. The way that he disregards and disrespects his subscribers and viewers, paying contributors, when they push back on Grand Planner, it's fucking disgusting. Hassan does the same shit. Ben Empanada does the same shit. And it's like, bro, like, are you serious? Like, you motherfuckers don't, like, have to have a real job because people are supporting you. And it makes me wonder, like, we know that Hassan Piker is a fucking Nepo baby. He was born rich. We know that Sam Cedar's father was a lawyer, and he was wealthy enough to where Sam felt comfortable enough to drop out of law school to pursue his Hollywood dreams. And he is so fucking mediocre that even as a Jew, he could not make it in Hollywood. Him and Ben Shapiro, I'm telling you, a lot more in common than you think. And you know, George was wealthy enough in Australia to where his caring father could pay for Greek lessons that went nowhere. So I think these people grew up comfortable, if not rich, wealthy, and so they feel entitled to the support that people are giving them. And I don't. I sincerely don't. Like, this isn't a fucking act. I think also when you grow up like working class, this is almost like you never, especially, bro, I'm telling you, like the image of like un güero, you know, holding a sign and asking for money on the freeway, and, you know, brown people selling flowers, selling whatever, just trying to make it by. And last time I even saw a video of like this white dude like tossing the flowers on the side of the road because he's like, oh, this is my turf. This is where I'm like panhandling. And I don't know, like culturally, there's a lot of things where it's like, hey, don't, like, just go in, clock in and clock out, pick up extra hours, pick up extra shifts. So a lot of that's like up here too. So I appreciate the support. I'm sorry for the huge tangent. I think Vic is sparing me. Freebie tangent. Okay, see, literally, yes. All right. Thank you so much. That's all I need. That's all I need. You know, that's all I need to feel better about my life. All right, and it's charging still. Okay, cool. Look at that. Vic give this, and Vic takes it. I don't know. But I honestly appreciate it. I think, and I hear y'all about the toxic masculinity, men asking for help, you know, challenge impossible. I get that. But it's also, I never want to like exploit anyone's labor. And it's like, at what point, I'll give you an example. Keeping it easy is like, I am so in debt to keeping it easy for like the drops. And like, I'm not going to forget that. I'm going to continue working, making this channel grow. And like, when it's possible, there's going to be an appropriate thank you. Because like, to me, those little things like mean so much. The fact that y'all are suggesting like, or volunteering to like help out, and other people have as well. It's just, believe me, I'm incapable. Another toxic masculine trait of saying how much that means to me and how motivating that is. And so, thank you, for real. Thank you. And I don't know, maybe when I come out with my memoir, 2026 is going to be an amazing chapter. and y'all see what I was I'm dealing with in the background. But okay, let's get back on track. My apologies. Okay, let's get back on track. I don't even know what I was saying. All right, let's get back to this.
wonderful victories that took place in mayor's races in Seattle.
I do know what I was saying. My apologies. So I asked this of Claudia de la Cruz because I'm like, look, realistically, you're not going to win the presidency. I also think I asked Bush Ware about this, but he was late, so I don't quite remember. I do know that I asked the vice presidential candidate for Cornel West's whatever party he ended up having. And so none of them provided me with an appropriate answer where I'm like, look, you have to run to maintain ballot access. I understand that. However, what is a realistic, practical thing that we can do that we've seen that has worked to change, the culture and environments on a local level? And I do think that taking over a school board, the way that the Republican Party has done, these reactionary evangelical Christians, white supremacists, I think that is something that we should be replicating in blue states, at the very least, so that these kids don't like get brainwashed too much. Like, how do we reach them? Like, in the schools. If we're forced now to send our kids to their schools, let's just take over the schools then. Of course, the drop's not working. Here it is.
How do I reach these kids?
I'm thinking about that all the time, How do we finesse the system? And in a lot of ways, the reactionary movements have shown how to get it done, or how to get her done. So I would be very interested to know exactly who Bernie Sanders got elected in these down ballot. I don't know.
For example, you got wonderful victories that took place in mayor's races in Seattle, Washington, D.C. We were not involved in those races. So we can't do everything. But what we do, we want to do well and give the kind of support to those candidates that they may need. That's kind of the answer. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Let me ask you this question. The South Carolina.
Oh, wait, what? Look, I know, and I'm guilty. I distracted y'all. My apologies. But that's your response to that weak ass answer. Mind you, he didn't address specifically why he did not endorse Hong. He never addressed that. He just said, "Oh, we're doing a lot of things in a lot of places." But what does that mean? How does that matter? Thank you so much for the super chat, Gio. My apologies. I don't know why the alert didn't pop up, so I'll give you this one right here.
Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat?
Fuck Bernie Sanders. Thank you for that. I'll keep that in on the edit. Yeah. What do they call that? The DD or DTS donos? Well, I don't know what when it's like you could actually pay for it to whatever your chat is to be read out loud by, I guess now they're doing AI voices, but like I thought about that, but I'm like, nah, I can't trust y'all. Y'all already like putting me in risky situations all the time, man. I'm glad that y'all are vibing with my suggestion of taking over the school boards. TTS, thank you so much. Text to speech. Yeah. Wow. No, that's what Gio got. I don't know. Each one gets a unique, not so unique drop. How about that? But no, I activated the alerts, which should be good. Don't do it. It can't be trusted. Yeah. Nah, you're fine. You're fine. So that rambling response that we got about, oh, there's so many other campaigns, we're doing so much everywhere, but we can't be everywhere all at once. And it's like, we're not asking you to. I mean, clearly you were seeing the polling from Hong and that it was going to be a close competitive race, and she ended up losing by just a couple thousand votes. So why wouldn't that motivate you to get your ass to her fucking state and campaign for her? It just doesn't make any sense unless, of course, you thought she was a little too on the wild side. So let's check this out here. And mind you, again, the follow-up question that Sam has, or his response, are like, okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Again, Emma Vigeland with Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez, no pushback, no follow-up questions, no holding them, their feet to the fire, none of that. They're not in the hot seat whatsoever. It's pathetic. You are the so-called independent media. You're supposed to be different from mainstream media, corporate media. And you're still incapable of asking these individuals any tough questions. For what? What is the purpose of protecting them or shielding them? Obviously, it's so that they could come back. It's access journalism at its finest. And nobody calls this shit out.
They may need. That's kind of the answer. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Let me ask you this question. The South Carolina has moved into the front of the Democratic primary season for the presidential election. I know you have a little experience with South Carolina.
So there you go. Just moved on to another question. So let's check out this piece. I'm not a huge fan of this individual whatsoever, especially with the whole debacle with, his writers trying to unionize and him threatening to just essentially shut down current affairs. I don't know what the resolution to that was. I don't know if eventually he was forced to capitulate. I don't really care. He showed us who he is, Nathan J. Robinson. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with his mug, I'm telling you, this guy is just preposterous, man. Just everything about him is ridiculous. And I appreciate him for that. I appreciate that he allows me to laugh at him. Look at this. Well, I do declare. I mean, you don't need a white hood. You do not need a white hood when you're rocking this fucking fit. I don't feel comfortable, man. I'm telling you right now, like, it's unsettling. Like, I had to look over my shoulder when I see him because I'm like, oh, fuck. His goons are going to try and capture me. That's all I'm saying is... Let's see here. Virtually identical. Is it Monsieur Candy? Or what do they call him? Oh, man. Good old Nathan. I can't tell the difference. I really can't tell the difference. And mind you, this is not saying that I think he looks like fucking DiCaprio. I'm saying that he looks like a villain. Yeah. And it's not just this fit, man. Look at this. Look at this. This is preposterous. This is ridiculous. And it's like, hey, this isn't fair, man. This isn't nice. Man, you look like you're going to help overthrow the Cuban government. And that's not my fault. And I just have to point it out for everyone's safety. All right? But hey, let's check out what he has to say. Without solidarity, solidarity with the DSA, the left will fail. Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong was abandoned by those who could and should have helped her become the first DSA governor. Next time, we need to do better. Isn't that like the slogan for or the catchphrase for what's this racist ass supporter guy, Joey Swole? You guys know this dude? Let's see. Yeah, this guy right here. He always does these videos where it's like, do better. And I guess he supposedly, last I heard, he quit the internet because he did this like big old like eulogy for Hulk Hogan, and people are like, dude, he's like a renowned racist. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, you can't, you know, he meant a lot to a lot of people. And I'm like, yeah. And you know, the people that still support him, we know why. Let's see here. Francesca Hung, a state assembly member in Wisconsin, nearly just became the Democratic nominee for governor. Nearly? Nearly. Come on now. Come on now. Nearly. You know what that brings to mind? You know what that brings to mind? This right here.
Ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
I almost had you, man. By the way, I will down the hill that the first Fast and the Furious is easily top 10 LA based movie. Easily. I'm sorry. It might be in the bottom 10, but it is up there for sure with Training Day. It's up there with some of the best LA based movies, Blood In and Blood Out, you name it. I will fight you to the death. That movie changed culturally, like the scene in LA, so much. For the worst. I want to be very clear. For the worst. However, it's an amazing movie. The first one is almost a perfect type of summer, you know, flick. Yeah, Heat is another one. Yeah, there's a lot of great. I'm saying bottom 10. Bottom 10, all right? Yeah. Hey, BT. No, BT. No. Here's the thing. Vic has standards, right? Vic does not, you know, get into the mud and the blood and the guts of the tangents. Vic judges from above high. You can't give a suggestion, a great one at that, and then say also a tangent. You know, no, you can't play both sides here. All right. Yeah. True, I did. The 37-year-old Democratic Socialist, a single mom and former restaurant worker. Whoa. Was she a restaurant worker or was she an owner? I know she was a chef, but I was under the assumption that she owned her own restaurant. Was leading in polls and running on a platform of universal childcare, a data center moratorium, and raising the minimum wage. If elected, Hung would have been the first member of the Democratic Socialists of America to become a governor, an extraordinary step forward for the socialist movement. No. Hold on. She may be a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, but that would not have been a radical change or anything like that because she's still a fucking Democrat. We have plenty of Democratic, governors. So again, it's so frustrating that the DSA and its like supporters try and claim these victories that aren't theirs. These victories are for the Democratic Party. Hong had an impressive background, and supporters were inspired by her atypical journey into politics, her authentic vibe, and an organic approach to campaigning. As a legislator, she has been involved in efforts to introduce paid family leave, cut greenhouse gas emissions, and establish an economic bill of rights. And yet something strange happened as Hung's campaign picked up momentum. Key political figures on the left decided not to support her. Politico noted that while in Wisconsin, progressives are on the cusp of a huge win, their biggest stars are staying away. Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders both refused to endorse Hung. I don't think so, Sanders said when asked if he would endorse, which led to an increase in criticism of Hung. That's the one thing that I will acknowledge here. When you refuse to endorse, the question is, well, why not? Now, he gave that weak ass answer to Sam Cedar, and Sam Cedar took it because, Zionist brothers got to stick together. But saying, hey, we can't be everywhere all at once when it's going to be a competitive race, you should prioritize that. When according to Jonathan, or what's his name? Sorry. Nathan, I don't know where I got Jonathan from. Nathan Robinson. The J is silent. Well, no, anywho. So, according to him, this is going to be historic. DSA governor, Democrat governor. Well, why not give this more love, more attention, more support? It makes no sense. But anyway, what it will do by refusing to endorse her is make people ask, well, what's wrong with her that Bernie Sanders or AOC wouldn't support her, wouldn't endorse her, wouldn't come out to campaign for her? You start putting doubt into people's minds. So by refusing to endorse, when it's pretty obvious you should be endorsing, you are proactively hurting their campaign and chances of winning. AOC, unmoved by Hung's shared background, as no, fuck off. Fuck off, man. Are we really doing this? Ain't nothing wrong with not endorsing. AOC, unmoved by Hung's shared background as a bartending Democratic socialist, said the race was local and made the entirely non-committal statement Francesca Hung has made clear her presence in her election. She's alive. She's conscious. Oh, I love it. All right. That's great. I didn't know she said that. That's awesome. Is there a video of this? Oh, come on now. I guess not. I haven't endorsed in that race. My focus has been in winning back the Congress. Okay, yeah, we saw this, right? Sanders, too, implied he didn't endorse because... Sorry, that's a typo, right? Sanders, too, implied he didn't endorse because likes to stay out of governor races, even though he had endorsed the gubernatorial campaign of Troy Jackson in Maine. Then Hung lost by the thinnest of margins, less than a single percentage point and only a few thousand votes. But according to Sam Cedar, it's impossible to know. It's impossible to know whether or not Bernie and AOC endorsing and campaigning for Hung would have made a difference of more than 1%. Impossible. It's just impossible. There's just no way of knowing. Jeez, man. Since AOC and Bernie Sanders have immense power to motivate left voters, it is reasonable to think that their decision not to endorse or campaign for Hung is what made the difference. The margin of difference was about the size of the crowd at a single Bernie Sanders rally in 2025. He drew 3,500. Dude, all right. We got to give this to Nathan. This is pretty nice. There's a nice little tad info here. Sorry. It's a nice little detail here. The margin of difference was about the size of the crowd at a single Bernie Sanders rally in 2025. He drew 3,500 people to an auditorium in Kenosha, Wisconsin. For her part, Hung was very gracious about the non-endorsement, saying she has so much respect for the senator and the congresswoman. A loser. Since I'm not a politician, I don't have to be quite as gracious. Personally, I think this was an egregious failure of solidarity that set back the socialist movement, and I think Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez should be heavily criticized for their decision. DSA had its first opportunity to win a governor's race, and it was essentially sabotaged by our leading left politicians. He's not wrong. Look, he's not wrong. Munzio Candy is correct. Wow, okay. But again, what does it mean to hold them accountable? To like tweet? Do you think, I mean, we saw Sam Cedar ask Bernie Sanders, and there was like 20 different caveats. It was padded like 10 different ways. And once he gave a horrible fucking response, that answer, if you want to even call it an answer, what was Sam Cedar's follow-up? What was his pushback? Sure, sounds great to me. Sounds about right, Bernie. Kibbutz next year? Like, it's just like, come on, bro. It's pathetic. The discussion around the decision not to support Hong was centered on Hong's supposed weakness as a candidate, which is preposterous because, again, losing by less than 1%, a few thousand votes, that's, I mean, sure, maybe she wasn't a strong candidate. I wasn't following her race closely. However, it was fucking competitive enough to where your endorsement would have made the difference. I know some may say it's impossible to know, but let's not be ridiculous here. The question is why? Now I want to like retroactively look into her campaign and find out why they let her out to hang. I was gonna say to Hong, but it's not appropriate. I do know that Hassan Piker was a big supporter of her, right? So again, I wonder what the split was. The idea is that Hong was simply not strong enough to run a general election, and so it would have been unwise to support her because it would have meant winning the primary, but then handing the governorship to a Republican. Ooh. 4D chess. All right. Hung was criticized for having said a number of things in the past that were excessively woke. You know, we hate that around here. We hate that shit around here.
Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat?
We don't do none of that woke stuff around these parts. So why don't you just get on and be on your way? No wokeness here. Supporting the defunding of the police, criticizing Thanksgiving, and for using academic lefty language, proximity to whiteness. Interesting, because look, there's been more coming out. The receipts, which, you know, I'm always grateful to see what's what people find out here. What are we doing? What are we doing? How does this make any sense? Oh, I guess this, right? Yeah. Give me one sec. Jesus Christ, where are we at? Oh my gosh. This is so fucking embarrassing, bro. Do we have time for this? Okay, no, this is perfect. Yes, this is later. This is later. This is later. Jesus, bro. Let's see here. That's perfect. I totally forgot about that. Let me put this on here. Where the fuck is this? It's Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez doing what she always does best, being preposterous. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. VG Bershad wrote something for Fidel Castro's birthday that I'm not sure if I want to watch. Or read, I should say. Come on, AOC. Also, has anyone seen that movie, Cure? I believe it's Korean, if I'm not mistaken. Where are we at? Where are we at? My apologies, y'all. Oh, and we're adding this to yesterday's collage. Ugh. Woke one was crazy. I mean, it's so predictable, it's pathetic. Come on, AOC. Where are we at? Where are we at? Shoot, I don't think I'm gonna find it. My sincere apologies. I thought I had it lined up. Oh, yes. Here it is. No, it's not this one. Shit, it's not this one. This one's a good one too, though, but it should be coming up then. Ah, yes. Here we go. Look at this. In 2018, AOC's campaign did Robin DiAngelo wokeness with what's SURJ? Not sure what that is.
Even the term white fragility can like really set a lot of people off and saying, what do you mean I'm fragile? You know, like this is offensive. And so it's almost ironic that the term is kind of self-evocative in that way. But it is an excellent thing that you bring up. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but in 2018, we had folks from then Stand Up for Racial Justice. Now they're called NAS in Queens. I apologize. It's escaping me right now what it stands for. But they're essentially white folks organizing against white supremacy with other white people in Queens, and they very graciously kind of came into the space of the campaign.
Do you think that's where she met at the time her boyfriend, now ex?
And decided to have these kinds of person-to-person conversations to say, listen, this is how you recognize, like, this is how these problems are manifesting from all of these kind of subconscious scripts that we have learned. And it's not your fault. It doesn't make you a bad person. You're not like you are not consciously choosing to do harm. We are just raised in a society that by default socializes a very large amount of racism in our interactions, in what we deem to be okay to say to other people, in our media, in how we are taught, and a lot of people are.
And the head tilts really upset me because it's like very like, no, I hear you, I see you, I understand your pain. It's just so performative. One more.
What's important in this conversation is for us to talk about the world that we want, because a lot of people cannot fathom what an abolitionist America
Do the knowledge
looks like. Tell them it looks like a suburb where schools are fully funded.
Oh, she's doing it again. Hold on, before we get there. Tell them it looks like a suburb. I'm sorry, no thank you. Aren't we supposed to be moving on? I know this is an older video, but even then, she's holding a Democracy Now! Mic. Even then, it should have been known and understood that, like, we don't want to recreate the suburbs. In fact, it's not possible. It's antisocial, the suburbs. What are we doing here? This is ridiculous. But let's hear it. Ain't nothing wrong with the suburbs. Oh, man. I'm telling you, do I get the TTS thing? And fuck it, embrace AI, and just every time it has to be like AOC's preacher voice. Is that worth a couple of like 1,000 gallons of water, fresh water?
Where schools are fully funded and there are trees in the street and children can eat nutritious food where their
food
trees in the street, where schools are fully funded and there are trees in the street, and children can eat nutritious food where their brains are able to adequately develop, and that there are policies that people fight for so that the community is healthy enough.
I'm telling you, the best thing about this is that also when, you know, she was addressing, I believe it's called Action Network, like she jumps in and out of it. And it's like, bro, you have to maintain or else it looks ridiculous. You know, it just ain't nothing wrong. And then immediately going, and this is why we need to vote for this bill here. It's like just, it's very jarring and exposes you, man. She's the best. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Oh, have you never seen trees in the streets? I wanted to do spoken word so bad. Trees, streets.
Develop, and that there are policies that people fight for so that the community is healthy enough, because violence is a symptom of a diseased.
Bro, she's doing the spoken word. Violence is a system. It is a disease. Or this is great, man. I don't know. Fuck it. 2028. 2028. Let's do this shit, man. With one caveat, I will personally campaign, door knock, phone bank, and push AOC on this channel. Is if the entire campaign, 2028, her presidential run, she does her preacher voice. Can we all agree? Or I'm going to hold the whole chat, this whole fucking channel hostage. All right. Can we all agree, you know, where's the Bible? We ain't going to find one here. That if AOC says, I'm doing the preacher voice for my entire presidential campaign, that we will all door knock, phone bank, and campaign for her. Is that fair? Can we commit ourselves to this? Yeah. It's too good, man. Do not deny yourself of this.
Society and community. Whether it's war, or whether it's mass incarceration, or there's children on the border, and how we connect these issues in universality is based on deep meditation of our principles. So that's how we connect on these things. So, you know, there is no hierarchy of hate. A child, whether it's Rikers Island, the border, or Palestine, has no business being in a cage.
This is disgusting, man. Disgusting. Yeah. She's sincerely one of the worst people, bro. Sincerely the worst. DD Mitch, thank you so much for the jewels. Appreciate it. And I'm assuming the GOAT trophy is for AOC's preacher voice. All right, let's start a poll. Fuck it. Do we support President? I'll put Prez. Preacher AOC 2028. Oh man. I need do I even need this copy? Come on. They already call us libs anyways over here, apparently. So let's find out. Yeah. Sorry. In the deculturation live chat, and I need to find a way to combine these. Espiritu says, come on, Keith. Ain't nothing wrong with the little camping scene. The Twitch chat. Are y'all in or what? Are we doing this or what? Yeah. Man. All right, let's we'll save the other thing for after this. Okay. So let's just end this poll already. This is ridiculous. This is too funny. Nah, I'll leave it up for a little bit. Oh, that's why. That's funny. We move this down here. I'll check back in the poll in a little bit. And for using academic lefty language, proximity to whiteness, as well as for her rather disappointing efforts to explain some of these positions. I personally didn't think she gave a great answer when she was asked about her views on Thanksgiving. Oh, fuck. You're telling me that the guy that dresses like this may have a soft spot for Thanksgiving? No. No. No way. Really? This guy has a soft spot for Thanksgiving? I'm shocked. I'm fucking shocked. Man. And yet, Hung ran a remarkable campaign. For a socialist to win 300,000 votes in Wisconsin requires some effective organizing. Following the Mamdani playbook, she stayed focused on pocketbook issues, even as the media tried to focus on old tweets. And if the major national progressives had rallied behind her, she probably would have won a massive upset victory. Because I believe the left's platform is compelling and the centrist electability argument is overrated. I think she would have actually been in a good position against a Republican. The Democratic Socialist platform is precisely what you need in Wisconsin, and the political climate favors Democrats in November. A lot of people who defend Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez argue that Hung simply wasn't viable as a general election candidate. They largely support this by offering vibes, not proof. A typical example was Helen Lewis in The Atlantic, who called Hung a lemon, but did not actually demonstrate that Hung could not have won. In fact, some people I have argued with believe that Hung could have won, but still say it's better that she didn't. I don't know who this fucker talks to, though. This is weird. Let's end the poll now. Oh, wrong one. There we go. With results are in. No 60%, yes 40%, with a total of 30 votes. That's hilarious. And how many people are actually in the live right now? Come on, y'all. This is democracy. Democracy's on the line. We have 27 in the Deculturation Live channel, and we have, drum roll, 95 in the main channel. Wow. Seems like a lot of you don't care about democracy. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay. Adam Carlson of Zenith Research said, even if the blue environment helped get her across the finish line in November, perhaps she isn't the first statewide standard bearer of the socialist movement who would want to be front and center. But should the socialist movement really deliberately sabotage an opportunity to attain the governorship of Wisconsin? The governorship of Wisconsin, because the person who achieved that extraordinary feat was not the first statewide standard bearer that Ocasio-Cortez or Sanders had hoped for. We can't wait on our perfect candidates. We have to seize our opportunities. Now, sounds like Nathan J. Robinson over here was a Graham Plattner guy. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Here's what I think. You know what? Hold on. Nathan J. Robinson. I'm going to keep doing this to y'all. He looks like the rich guy that hires Graham Plattner to like get rid of every one of these photos. Oh, here we go. To get rid of the minorities tenants that he has. He's trying to like up the rent and make it into like a high-end condo. And he has to get rid of rent control tenants. So he hires Graham Planner to get rid of them, to scare them. Just saying, write it down. Here's what I think should have happened here. seeing that a Democratic Socialist had achieved the absolutely extraordinary distinction of being the frontrunner in a Midwestern governor's race, Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez should have sprung into action. Recognizing that Hung needed help with her campaign messaging, they should have rushed to Wisconsin, sat her down, and given her an absolute crash course in how to be an effective left communicator. I'm sorry, this is preposterous. No, this is ridiculous. And it's going to sound like I'm defending Hung, but the reality is that despite whatever criticisms they had of her, legitimate or not, what she was doing was working. All she needed was a little bit more attention, a little bit more support, really, solidarity, if you will. But to sit her down and coach her, and for Nathan J. Robinson to be suggesting that is ridiculous, then you're not talking about solidarity. You're saying they should have molded her into a better fucking sellout. Maybe there was a chance that Hung was really about it. I doubt it. But however, if AOC and Bernie Sanders were staying away from her, for me, that's a positive, right? But to say no, they should have came through and supported her. But before really supporting her, sat her down and be like, this is how you play the fucking game. That's just gross, man. He looks like he pays to get fanned with feathers by... Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, he does. Man. Okay. Where are we at? They should have rushed resources to her rather than simply conclude that she could not win in November, which we do not know. Done everything possible to assist. That is what a movement leader is supposed to do. Instead, on the eve of a critical primary, AOC waved away Hung's remarks by saying that woke one was crazy and made national news by talking about her decision to freeze her eggs. Not a frivolous topic by any means, especially in a climate where reproductive rights are under attack, but not the specific topic she should have been encouraging the media to focus on just at the moment that a Democratic Socialist was poised to win a crucial election. It's almost like it was strategic. Almost like that was strategic. But she just went through a messy breakup, so we had to show some solidarity with a Latin queen that had her heart broken by a white colonizer. An endorsement takes 10 seconds to offer. Not offering it when this kind of opportunity is on the table strikes me as indefensible. Now maybe there's more that was going on behind the scenes and Hung had further vulnerabilities that did not come out. I don't know. Maybe Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez had access to information that I don't. I just edited a magazine in New Orleans. All I know is what I read in the papers. But old cringy tweets are not a real scandal. Mamdani has them, AOC has them, and I'm sure I've got a few, although I'm not running for office, thank God. I mean, this is unnecessary for sure. I know Matt Taibbi was super critical of Nathan J. Robinson's writing for being like a blowhard, but let's wrap this up here. I do not accept, excuse me, oh, wait, hold on. Old cringy tweets. I told you he looks like somebody that supports and adores Thanksgiving. It's a white national socialist movement, proven time and time again. I do not exempt Hung from the blame for her own defeat. I do not exempt Hung from blame for her own defeat. Her messaging failures were real and her responsibility. But if we care about advancing the democratic socialist movement, hold on, this entire time it's been about a socialist movement, a socialist moment, a victory for socialism, and now it's a democratic socialist. Okay, movement. All right, sure, perfect, awesome. Words mean nothing, interchangeable, great. We've seen Hassan Piker play with that, so why not? We have to first and foremost practice solidarity. We have to lift each other up, help each other in moments when we're under attack. What disturbed me about Sanders and AOC's chilly remarks was how unsolidaristic they were. Not sticking together is what will destroy the democratic socialist movement over time. Heck, I hesitate even to criticize Sanders and AOC, and do it only sparingly because I think it's so destructive to the left for us to fight one another instead of the ruling class. What a pathetic fucking thing to say about elected politicians. Heck, I even hesitate to criticize Sanders and AOC, and do it only sparingly because I think it's so destructive to the left for us to fight one another instead of the ruling class. Bruh, you're fucking pathetic, bro. But the betrayal of Francesca Hung rubbed me the wrong way. Ro Khanna, who is not a democratic socialist, backed Hung and defended his decision to do so. And yet the country's most visible democratic socialists did not. In doing so, they threw away the chance for the movement to advance to governing a state. I think that was a serious mistake. Anyone who thinks it was politically sound and only needs to look. What? Oh, I'm messing up. Okay. Anyone who thinks it was politically sound only needs to look at the headlines. Here's the New York Times. A stunning loss in Wisconsin shows the limits of the left. Francesca Hung's defeat in the Democratic primary for governor defied expectations and may have shown the Democratic Socialist wave cannot reach beyond urban centers. Urban centers? What do you mean by that? Well, urban centers? It sounds scary. I won't go there. The Times is wrong, of course. Hung's defeat showed nothing of the kind because she would almost certainly have won if her fellow socialists had rallied behind her. In fact, her race showed that socialism is building power. Wait, now we're back to socialism. Just keep track. Because she came so close to winning the primary, just as Bernie's 2016 campaign showed the increased power of the left. But I can't believe anyone looking at the press coverage could really believe it was a good idea for leftists to deliberately tank Hung. She deserved their support, and I hope we won't see a mistake like this happen again. The more of these kinds of petty failures of solidarity we see, the less likely the left is to achieve real political gains in this country. And of course, the over the fucking top fucking, I don't know, sign off or what is this? Emblem? Anywho. Yeah, no, this is and again, this is standard now. AOC doesn't really endorse people that are challenging incumbents. And Mamdani, prevented Che Ose, that I have no sympathy for or solidarity with, from running against Hakeem Jeffries. Put his finger on the scale. That's all I'm saying. Like, come on, like, let's just be honest about this nonsense. Man. Saying that while dressing like a stereotypical colonizer is wild. The urban areas, the urban attire. Yeah. So, let's pour one for Hung over here. No solidarity. So sad. Do me a favor, y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when I go live. And if you want to help support this channel, please become a member or check out the Patreon, where for $2, you get access to the Discord. We have the unofficial book club on Saturdays. They're currently on Meditations on Phenomenal Treachery of the Earth, as well as the articles on Sundays. Go ahead and check that out. If you want to help support the channel with no one skimming off the top, hit up the Cash App, Deculturation on everything. I appreciate all the support, y'all. Thank you so much. Why does she have a master's jacket on? This is a chef you're speaking to. Show some respect. Okay. All right, let's yeah, we gotta read this. This is an awesome fucking, this is amazing over here. Hold on. I do wanna Abdul Sayed. Oh no. Is there an image here? Actually, it's not that bad. No, actually, this is awful. What the fuck? Somebody else had seen this here, but I didn't know how bad it was. Okay. Look at this guy. Oh, man. We have about an hour left. So the question is, do we knock this piece out here? Or do we knock this out? U.S. conducted mass spying campaign against left-wing groups and anti-ICE protesters, records reveal. I think that we should save this one for tomorrow. Only because there's a couple more ICE articles I want to go over. So maybe we'll just do like a Friday coverage of a lot of ICE topics. I'll be straight up. The thing is that I'm right now currently helping somebody out get to work. And they work graveyard. So I do need to leave. I need to get ready to leave by 9 or at 9. And I only share that not because I'm a great guy, I'm a nice guy. Because I do want to emphasize, like, you know, I've been going through some bullshit. Most of it, 99% of it, my fault. And I'm trying to address it. However, if you can, and it doesn't cost you much, honestly, I think that helping other people out when you're struggling is very grounding. Because it's like, all right, we're both struggling. And obviously everyone's struggling to different degrees. But just kind of being in the shit together and just being like, fuck, man, like I just need a couple things to just work out and we'll be fine. And, you know, sharing that, I think it really helps keep me fucking sane. And I'm so grateful to work with just some of the most down-to-earth individuals you can be around, and that are supportive in their own way. and I love how supportive they are in their particular way, which is mainly talking shit. But that's literally what I need most of the time. So yes, let's read this. Here's why. I can't remember if I saw this or not, but it definitely shocked me to see this. We saw this, right? This is so ridiculous. This is like some Black Mirror parody over here. Look at this.
Makes me wanna wag my tail. When it comes, I wanna wail. Thanks, mailbox. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. I wonder who it's from. Oh, it looks like my ballot. Brought to me by my Secretary of State. And with it, I can participate in democracy. The first day that I can turn this in is June 25th, but it has to be postmarked by July 21st.
So this isn't the original tweet that I saw, but it made a great point where it's like, dude, like, Americans are like so childish, are so behind and backwards in their political development that they literally have to be spoken to like children. Now, the one thing I will add to that is the power of nostalgia, but that's not too far removed from the childish analysis or critique, right? It's a little bit of both, where the nostalgia brings them back to a childlike wonder. We're all guilty of it to some degree, but understand that, like, this whole thing is very unsettling. And what I mean by like this feels dystopian is, at what point does the nostalgia running into real politics become one and the same? You get me? What happens when, instead of going completely the way of, oh, what was that movie called? Idiocracy, where it's literally like a gluteus maximus movie or whatever. What it is that we're gonna get this. This is gonna be political education. There's one thing to be like in middle school and watching, I'm just a Bill, a regular Bill, and this is completely different. This is sad. This is pathetic, both for the people entertained by this and that it connects with, and for somebody, a politician, to say, hey, you know what's a good idea? And to do this. Bernie the dinosaur. Yeah, exactly.
Or I can drop it off up until Election Day, which is August 4th. Thanks, Secretary of State. Thanks, mailbox. Votes gonna do, we can too.
Come on now. Black Agenda Report. El Sayed is the Arab Obama by Margaret Kimberly, Bar Executive Editor and Senior Columnist. This was published on 11 August 2026. Donald J. Trump, two very different Americas. And look, I will say, it's weird. It's a weird position to be in because you should be able to call yourself whatever the fuck you want. But I do think that it is definitely whitewashing your name. Because there was an ad that came out essentially naming Abdul El Sayed as Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Sayed. And the Majority Report actually covered that. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if they made a clip of this. And whoa, that looks cool. Let's see, the Majority Report, Abdul Sayed, something like that. Yeah, 9 days ago? Is this 9 days ago, or was this? Yeah, I think it's this one.
Abdul El Sayed won the Michigan primary.
Haven't heard any coverage of that.
Fun fact, which I did not know, it turns out that he's Muslim. And this also I found surprising. Like 80% of the people in this country wants to cut off aid to Israel. But apparently there is nothing more relevant to our politics today than the fact that Abdul El Sayed wants to cut off aid to Israel, and Hassan Piker helped with his campaign. Let's go through the list of some of the things that are not as important.
All right. It's not what I was... I don't know why I ever trust this motherfucker to actually provide. Oh, here it is. Maybe this one? Was it 4 days ago? I don't think it was 4 days ago. Hold on, let me find it. It's it was an ad attacking him by saying his full name. Abdul El Sayed. Add full name or something like that. Oh, here it is.
They think that you want to use my whole name against me. Mike, listen, man, if you can't say the name, it's Abdurrahman, keep the name out your damn mouth. Yeah! They think that you want to use my whole name against me. Mike, listen, man, if you can't say the name, it's Abdurrahman, keep the name out your damn mouth. Yeah! I'll be happy to give you lessons.
I was very annoyed with the whole discourse of Kamala Harris versus... See, I'm so bad with names. Kamala Harris versus Kamala Harris. Because before she ran for president, or I guess she ran for president, I had never heard anyone, argue or debate about how to properly pronounce her name. To the point that to this day, I don't know what it is. I think it's like comma. So Kamala Harris, not Kamala Harris. Okay, I understand respecting everyone's, name and trying your best to say it properly. I try but it's just the English language is very difficult for me to begin with. But I sincerely do try. But what is frustrating about this is you are purposely whitewashing your name by going simply by Abdul El Sayed. I, knew somebody that they just came out and said like, hey, I was in essentially like the Midwest when 9/11 happened. I no longer went by Muhammad, I went by Mo. And I was sympathetic to that. I'm like, dude, like, whatever helped you feel more safe and comfortable, for sure, totally understandable. But they were acknowledging that they felt, like they were betraying their culture, like they were hiding. But the fact was that where he was in the country was risky, to the point that homie said, like, maybe I allowed people to think that I was Puerto Rican. Maybe.
Who's the little Puerto Rican?
And again, I'm like, it's, if the environment back then was so bad that you had to, pretend to be Puerto Rican, Latino, Hispanic, what have you, by all means. But I do think that you can't have it both ways. You can't say, keep my name out of your mouth when you don't even fucking put your own name in your mouth. You can't say, keep my name out of my mouth, or keep my name out of your mouth, if your own supporters don't have your name in their mouths. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm struggling here. English.
But they understand that the only way that they think they can win is to drag us into the mud, to believe the worst about each other, to believe that what divides us is bigger than what unites us. They want us to think that the reason some of us ain't got is because of other people got. But it turns out that the reason so many of us ain't got is because of the system that has corrupted our politics to take it away from us.
All right. No. We need a compilation of Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez, preacher, and then now we have Abdul El Sayed doing this. God, this is great, man. Come on.
Of us ain't got is because of other people got.
I love it. I love it.
To think that the reason some of us ain't got is because of other people got.
That is so good.
But it turns out that the reason so many of us ain't got is because of the system that has corrupted our politics to take it away from us. And that is the thing that we are taking on now. That movement to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all, it is a big movement. So
that's awesome, man. I wish we had the ad, though. Let's see. Ad attacking Abdul El Sayed. Full name? How about that? But can we see the ad?
All your early attack ads against him.
The fuck was that? My bad. I don't know why it was this loud.
Using his full name in these attack ads, which has gotten some attention. Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Sayed. He goes by Abdul El Sayed. Are you trying to say, hint, hint to voters, he's Muslim?
Not at all. What we're saying what we're only saying to voters is a simple thing. He says he's the most dangerous candidate.
No way did he tell him, cameras on. Tim. T. Turn that way. He's so bad at this. Oh, man. Look at this. Ooh, that's rough. How are you this amateur? Why are we doing this amateur shit right now?
He's Muslim?
Not at all. What we're saying what we're only saying to voters is a simple thing. He says he's the most dangerous candidate you can find. He's right. We should trust his words, not ours.
But why not just use his name, Abdul El Sayed, which he goes by?
Well, listen, I go by Timothy Eugene, and so I get called that all the time. Here's what I know with that question. It's about what he stands for. And we're going to focus and bring attention to the fact that not only is he sympathetic for Hamas, not only does he run around with Hassan Pike or someone who said that Americans deserve 9/11, he should be held account for exactly where he stands and what he's for.
So
I want to see the fucking ad, bro. God damn, I'm annoyed. We're seeing the reactions to, the defense to the ad. But what I want is the actual fucking ad. God damn it. We can't have anything nice here. If anyone finds it, drop it in the Discord, please. Why is it so difficult? Ay, ay, ay. Jesus, man. Let's see. Attack ad against Abdul El Saeed. Let's try it again. Man, I just want to laugh.
Victory for the newest champion of the land.
I'm done. I'm done. All right, let's read this shit here. Which, by the way, I mean, look, man, if you're gonna bring somebody's wife into this, and not to sound Islamophobic, but she looks pretty young. I don't give a fuck, bro. No, she looks great, right? Bro, like, your wife, can we just be honest? You know, can we just be honest? It's almost like Nancy Reagan. If you know the Hollywood stories of Nancy Reagan, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, Google's your friend, all right? Look, yo, all right, thank God Claudia is not in the main chat. Circa 1987, the legend lives. Okay, BT, thank you, BT. That's exactly what I want on the main chat. God, man. Didn't I say yesterday PG-13? Jesus. Last minute goal. Let's see. Last minute goal over here. We'll do I don't even know if I spelled Reagan right. I doubt it. I'm gonna look into how we can combine the chats. It's Hollywood, baby. You gotta be a star. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, would you look at that? The one tangent Vic does not mind. I... Oh man. All right. Let's get to this. The Democratic Party will recalibrate its messaging after its well-funded Senate candidate in the Michigan primary lost to Abdul El Sayed, who by his own admission is a capitalist, not a socialist, and a supporter of U.S. wars. El Sayed is falling in the footsteps of another charismatic neoliberal imperialist. Who could that be? That's great. All right. Abdul El Sayed won the Michigan Democratic Party Senate primary contest despite constant Islamophobic and Zionist attacks. Really? Are we really doing this? Because I don't know if y'all saw this. Let's see, where is he at? Abdul El Sayed. Let's go with Jewish. No, there's a worse one about shining light, man. Is it this? No. Let me find it. Abdul El Sayed. It wasn't a week ago, was it?
Brothers, one of the most indelible memories of this campaign will have been the opportunity to break bread with you at Seder, to worship with you at Shul, to be embraced by you, and listening to sisters and brothers who said, you know, I
Okay, no, yeah, he does the Obama shit. Definitely doing the Obama fucking look, I don't understand how people put up with Obama's and one more thing. I do not love Michelle. I love an Asian woman. But unfortunately the voting poll and the broader response in the black community would not have bode well for my political ambitions. So I married Michelle for the aesthetics. Which, look, man, look, I love that story. And I don't care what anyone says. It's true, right? Like, he gave up on his true love for the presidency. I just love that, man. Like, just sacrifice your own happiness, your own fucking happiness for what? For power, man. That's the fucking American way. No, Abdullah said something along the lines of it has to be fuck, I hate this. Twitter's like your go-to fucking source now. What's his name? Abdul El Sayed. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
I love and revere Judaism and the Jewish people. I believe they're a light unto the world. I grew up in a community that had a large Jewish population. I was so grateful to get to be invited to Seder and to Shul and to Bar and Bat mitzvahs. I'm really honored for what I learned and got to share with my Jewish sisters and brothers.
There's a longer clip here from July 30th.
Jewish people, AIPAC and Israel are not the same as Judaism and the Jewish people. I love Judaism and I love the Jewish people. I venerate Judaism and I venerate the Jewish people. I stand with...
Venerate? Hold on. I don't know. It's a word I've heard. I don't actually know the definition. Let's see here. From Merriam-Webster's dictionary, which is one of my favorite Simpsons bit, by the way. To regard with reverential respect or with admiring deference. To honor an icon, a relic, etc. With a ritual act of devotion. Yeesh. Ay, ay, ay. That's rough. How do you come back from that? Well, nobody's going to hold you accountable. He's not even DSA. He gets away with it. He get away with anything. Let's see. Simpsons. Merriam. Dictionary. I'm not gonna find it. It's the lawyer scene, court scene, or some shit like that. Oh no, it's going straight to fucking. Oh, here it is.
And so, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case.
Mr. Hutz, do you know you're not wearing any pants?
What? Ah! I move for a bad court.
No, it's not this one. Oh well, my apologies there. I guess kind of worth not getting the stream demonetized. Okay.
Judaism, and I stand with the Jewish people. And the single most dangerous thing that they've tried to tell us is that somehow they can extend the definition of anti-Semitism to include a foreign government and its leaders. I call bullshit. No. No. If you believe.
He's so fucking real, man. He called BS. Oh my god, bro. He called BS. Oh my goodness. Such words would never come out of these lips.
That anti-Semitism extends to include a foreign government and AIPAC, you are creating a dangerous circumstance. So it is important for us to recognize that we love Judaism and the Jewish people because we love people. And
bro, every major Jewish institution is Zionist. 90+% of Jews are Zionists. So you love Zionists and a Zionist religion. Wow. Astonishing.
All due respect. No disrespect to my Palestinian brothers and sisters. But we're not talking about Palestinians.
We're talking about Jews.
You say we. Who are you referring to when you're talking about Sam, huh?
Well, I don't
Settlers, Europeans.
Hold on.
You're talking about white people or are you talking about Jewish people?
No.
Probably like 50% of these comments are fine. 30% are borderline. You know, like somewhere in the middle. Potentially yes, potentially no, depending on the intent behind them. And then like 20% are just straight up openly anti-Semitic.
Pathetic.
And we love Palestinians and their rights because we love people. And we love that our tax dollars get spent here, on schools here, and healthcare here, because we love people.
Yeah, he has the Obama inflection for sure. For sure, you hear it really bad here.
Our tax dollars get spent here, on schools here, and healthcare here.
The here. You hear it. The Toa Plattner got away with a Nazi tat and a Merc war criminal background. The bar is in hell, where they all belong. So yeah, the Zionist attack is just performative. AIPAC wants to control, how critical these candidates are of the Zionist project, but they're not opposing. It's not like they actually feel challenged or threatened, because these are still liberal Zionists. It's just liberal Zionist normalization. It's a theater. It's a performance that they had to play. Whoa, yeah, we're nowhere near this, huh? Abdullah Syed won the Michigan Democratic Party Senate primary contest despite constant Islamophobic and Zionist attacks. Oh, we were literally one fucking sentence into this article? That's awesome, man. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Thank you for putting up with me. The physician and former public health official raised $14 million in defeating his opponent, Haley Stevens, a sitting member of Congress who raised more than $60 million. Stevens was a beneficiary of the American Israel Public Action Committee, AIPAC, and a super PAC formed on her behalf, and therein lay a huge problem. After nearly 3 years of witnessing Israel's war crimes committed in Gaza, most people in this country now view that state in a negative light, and AIPAC's fundraising prowess is more of an electoral hindrance than it is a help. Stevens hadn't yet received that memo and proclaimed her allegiance to Israel at every opportunity, at one point proclaiming, I mean, let's actually look at this because this is fucking epic. I saw this.
I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Which, by the way, did they literally like pan the camera to like, who is the most Jewy person in the audience? Look, I didn't make that executive production decision, all right? I'm not being anti-Semitic here. I'm simply pointing out that they literally panned the camera like, who are we choosing? Shit, that reminds me that y'all know where I'm going with this. You have to know where I'm going with this. Chat, come on now.
Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat?
10 points to anyone who guesses what I'm about to pull up. Let's see.
Folks, I have a simple philosophy that government should work for everyone, not just the elite. And that's why I helped pass the Farm Bill, because I care about farmers. But I won't stop there.
This shit's awesome. Look, support the channel because it's getting demonetized. This stream is it's not getting monetized.
I will work for everyone. Whether you are young, whether you are old, whether you are Asian or Hispanic, whether you are straight or whether you are gay. I will work for all of you. And that's why I also support marriage equality. Folks don't choose to be gay any more than I choose to be straight. Could you imagine if someone told you that you couldn't marry the person that you loved? I'm sorry, I think gays are people too.
This is it's just, yeah. And also, fuck Dave Chappelle for being like, they stole my thing. Fuck off, bro. You stole fucking In Living Color? I don't know what to tell you. This shit's awesome, man.
Gays are not different. Gays, they are just like us. They love, they fear.
Bro, catching sexual harassment charges just to avoid the allegations. It's just completely unacceptable, man.
They raise their children. They strive for a better life. But there are those who believe that being gay is an abomination. That's absurd.
The fetal position. Yes. The most masculine hiding position that you could possibly take. Well known, well known. Keeping It Easy says, Pio is dressed like a closeted gay at church, though. I don't know, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh God. How did this get back on screen? Whoa. Well, whoa, my, why is this up here? What's happening? Oh my goodness. What are we doing? Guys, come on. What was that? They literally took the camera and were like, fuck it, man. Fuck it. It's too good. I don't know. Y'all just don't recognize true heterosexual love because you've been corrupted by the gay agenda. I tell you what, you hear people in the chat don't recognize heterosexual love, Christian love, because the gay agenda has corrupted you. So you see this,
a beautiful, some may say swirling couple together, and you think that it's just a beard. Why? Because he only knew her for a couple weeks? Come on now. Come on now. This is love. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but call me progressive here. I don't mind this. The interracial stuff, don't bring it home to me, but I support it from afar. And as long as it's Adam and Eve, my blessings to you, brother.
All right. Can we finish this fucking paragraph? Is that possible? Okay. What Stevens thought was a campaign trail stemwinder, sealing the deal instead made her both a laughingstock and a victim of the rising resentment over Israeli interference in U.S. politics. What the fuck? All right. APAC power doesn't work like it used to, nor does sending out the party's old heads like James Clyburn or endorsements from Democratic Party leadership. The party is fast losing legitimacy with millions of its voters, who were always more to the left than their establishment figures and who are now determined to chart their own course after watching Joe Biden support genocide, surrender promised legislation to the oligarchy, allow COVID-era safety net program to disappear, and then leave his re-election campaign after being kicked out by the Zionist donor class and endorsing the hapless Kamala Harris, who went down to defeat at the hands of Donald Trump. El-Sayed was then perfectly positioned to pull off a victory, with the possibility that he will defeat the Republican in the general election and become a United States Senator may be a cause for caution because we have seen this movie before and we know the ending. I mean, oh man, I don't know about this. I would love to ask her this. Are we really saying that it was the Zionist donor class that pushed Joe Biden out? Like, I'm sure they're Zionists, but how did the Zionism equate or factor into pushing out such a devoted Zionist like Joe Biden? You see what I'm saying? This is a question. And what I will say, I'm so grateful for this addition here, allowing COVID era safety net programs to disappear. Not just that, but literally, look, I haven't studied this enough, but currently my uneducated position just from living through it, or my lived experience, if you will, is that Joe Biden actually handled COVID worse than Donald Trump. Donald Trump was forced to handle COVID, with some severity to try and attempt to save the economy and the pressure he was receiving, from the quote unquote left, from the Democrats. However, once Joe Biden took over, I distinctly remember the airline CEO saying, yeah, we're done with this. And it was a wrap. So I do wonder who has more blood in their hands in regards to COVID. Donald Trump and the Republican Party or Joe Biden and the Democrats. There is a world where I think possibly Joe Biden has a higher death count than Donald Trump's first presidency. I'm actually fairly confident in that. All right, let me know in the comments how wrong I am. I think that's a fair statement, right? First administration versus Joe Biden's first and only administration. Higher death toll? Huh. No, and I understand, yeah, it's a two cheeks thing, but I'm simply asking because obviously the narrative that liberals paint is that, Joe Biden ended fascism. And they came back. He interrupted fascism. Forget about interrupting white supremacy. He interrupted fascism. When Barack Obama was president, this columnist would often joke that he must have paid antagonistic media like Fox News and right-wing commentators like Rush Limbaugh to vilify him at every turn. Often, leftist critiques of Obama would disappear when racist and crude criticism were loudly expressed against him. Obama actually benefited from his loudest detractors, and therein lies a warning about El-Sayed. And I will be petty and say, there's a fucking reason why Hassan Piker blocked me. Because when you actually provide concrete, principled, evidence-based criticism of somebody being a fucking fraud, an opportunist, they can't handle that. They rather go at it with Fox News. They rather go at it with Asmon Gold and Destiny than somebody to their left. This is the reality, right? That's just a little microcosm example of how these liberal opportunists operate in regards to criticism. Donald Trump and his MAGA supporters are going all in on Islamophobic attacks against El-Sayed. A comical True Social post shows a photograph of Donald and Melania Trump next to a photo of El-Sayed and his wife, Dr. Sarah Shukaku. The caption reads, "Two very different Americas." There are many differences between the two couples, such as the fact that Trump cheated on his wife, a former skin mag model, with a porn star. El-Sayed's wife is a physician whom he met in college. All right. So it was just a compliment. I just said she looked young. That's all I'm saying. All right. That's all I'm saying. Or maybe he looks old. How about that? He looks run down. All right. Just settle down. Settle down. Take it easy. Apparently, Dr. Jukaku's hijab, or the fact that she and her husband are Muslims with family origins in Egypt and India, are supposed to raise hackles. Hackles? Red meat for MAGA and bad grammar. There was no need to make the word America a possessive. Okay, well, a grammar fascist over here is what we have to look forward to. We can also expect knee-jerk defense of El-Sayed because of racist attacks instead of the disciplined analysis that we need. I mean, he's calling himself a fucking capitalist, bro. Like, what else? Why should any leftist defend this motherfucker? Like, whatsoever. Abdul El-Sayed, I'm a capitalist. Hell yeah, brother.
I am not somebody who is a socialist. I believe in capitalism. I just believe that capitalism has to be regulated. Forgive me for actually wanting to regulate trillionaires and billionaires so that we can build schools and roads. I know you guys really desperately want to put me into a category.
Bro, I don't know. He just reminds me of Jank more than like his very arrogant, smug, like, sorry, I'm just so fucking great, guys. Politics in this country have been moving to the right for the last 50 years, and discourse has narrowed so much that there is unjustified happiness when there should be doubt. It was easy to be impressed with El-Sayed as he deftly took on questions after questions about Israel. Nobody ever asked whether Palestine has a right to exist. Israel exists. A better question is, does Israel have the right to tax our dollars? To our tax dollars, whatever. I mean, this is being formed as a positive. Again, I've been hypercritical of this liberal Zionist approach of dodging questions. Nobody ever asked whether Palestine has a right to exist. Israel exists. See, that's the Emma Vigeland line of Israel exists. A better question is, does Israel have the right to our tax dollars? It's just preposterous. It's literally the Emma Vigeland line, bro. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. Let's see. Got like 10 minutes.
Of course.
Let's just slow it down. Is it slowed down still?
Would be great.
Yeah, I mean, when people ask the question, does Israel have the right to exist? Of course it does. Of course people in Israel have the right to safety. Of course, like, because it does exist and because people live there.
That's literally the same line. He was spot on in gauging voter sentiment with those words, but a closer look shows that El-Sayed is not the progressive champion that his campaign marketed. That's what it is. It's marketing. That's all it is. El-Sayed is squarely in line with the Democratic Party oligarchy on other foreign policy issues. He is in favor of continuing what is now a $195 billion aid to Ukraine, or rather to the military-industrial complex. He sounds like every other establishment Democrat on this issue. Quote, when we're talking about taking on Putin and his violation of international law, I do believe we have a responsibility to uphold international law and therefore to support Ukraine in its efforts. Now, can somebody ask him whether or not he supports Hamas? Hey, Hamas is an indigenous resistance movement and they have the right to arm resistance under international law. Abdul El Sayed, you support funding them the same way that you support funding these fucking neo-Nazis in Ukraine? Fair question, you know? I think it's a fair question. The bottomless pit of the public money for a dangerous proxy war against Russia could pay for the Medicare for all that El Sayed says he supports. On the subject of U.S. intervention in Venezuela, El Sayed sounds pretty much like the rest of the people who may be his colleagues in the Senate. When the U.S. kidnapped President Maduro, he stated the obvious about U.S. motives, but felt the need to take liberal potshots at the man who now sits in jail in New York City in violation of international law. Again, international law is such a pesky little thing when it's not convenient to your talking points. Maduro is a terrible dictator who oppresses people. Of course he sucks. But so do so many of the thugs Trump so gladly does business with. Sisi, Netanyahu, Mele, Bukele, etc. So why Venezuela? Fentanyl? He pardoned a drug trafficker. The answer is oil and only oil. Again, these people willingly take the Miami baptism. Nor is El Sayed a democratic socialist. Quote, I am not somebody who is a socialist. I believe in capitalism. I just believe capitalism has to be regulated. It isn't clear what that means, but the Senate is a graveyard of even mildly reformist positions. Even if El Sayed wins in November, there will be little reason for leftists or even leftish rejoicing. Oh no, they're gonna celebrate, bro. They're gonna be so fucking obnoxious. And we just sit back and wait. The decades-long right-wing shift has caused even progressives to narrow their worldview, to lower their expectations. We should not be lured into El Sayed love because people like Congresswoman Nancy Mace, famous only for Islamophobic screeds, declare that El Sayed and every other Muslim official is a Trojan horse who threatens national security. I haven't seen the Odyssey yet, no spoilers, please. I'm assuming there's Muslims in there? I don't know. Our vision should be larger. Cutting off funding for Israel but continuing it for the Ukraine proxy war is not impressive in any way and should be held up to some kind of progress. Sorry, cutting off funding for Israel but continuing it for the Ukraine proxy war is not impressive in any way and should not be held up as should not, right? Or am I misreading this? Should not? Nor is embracing politicians who stand for what El Sayed allegedly opposes. Kamala Harris quickly endorsed El Sayed after the primary and he embraced her right back. No, he bragged about endorsing her. He endorsed her first. Let's get that straight. Their mutual admiration society is not surprising. He endorsed her during her 2024 presidential campaign and even lied about her actions in relation to policy on Israel. Quote, Joe Biden flew to Israel to embrace Netanyahu. Kamala Harris boycotted him. She seized the opportunity for a clean break on policy in Gaza, embracing the humanity of the Palestinian people over the brutality of Netanyahu. Winning Michigan will require her to build on this. What a fucking liar, man. That's disgusting. That is appalling. Wow, man. If by boycotted, he means that she didn't preside over the Senate during Netanyahu's 2024 speech before Congress, he is correct. But didn't they meet after the fact? Okay, yes. I didn't read this, by the way. But she met with him privately at the White House immediately after the speech, and that means El Sayed was not telling the truth. No, that's the best kind of liar, where it's a little murky. Technically, she did boycott his presence there. So he's right, and we should vote for him and trust him from now on. But if he can be thought of as the Arab Obama, we need look no further. Excuse me. But if he can be thought of as the Arab Obama, I don't like the way I'm saying that. But if he can be thought of as the Arab Obama, we need look no further than Barack Obama himself, the ultimate neoliberal and imperialist who successfully marketed himself as a progressive. The two men recently had a warm and inspiring conversation, and El Sayed expressed hope that Obama would campaign with him. Look, he hit up Zoran Mamdani, it looks like, and I'm sorry here. I'm sorry for all my
Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat?
but the the black progressive isn't really in vogue right now. The new motto is the Arab brown progressive. So just get with the times. It's not about you right now. I'm sorry. It's the Arab's turn. That's a joke. I can't get another warning on that. I don't know. I did the Grand Planner thing and it got me in some trouble. But anywho, where are we at? His victory was not lost on the Democratic Party establishment, which quickly learned to correct course and join the guy they couldn't beat. Of course, Kamala Harris endorsed him and Obama called him. The establishment now realizes that tons of AIPAC cash and endless prostrating. Wow. That's how little I know that word. You woman, you says you're constantly attacking us. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You women, you wants the real Obama 2.0, not this fake Fugazi Egyptian knockoff. Okay, where are we? An endless prostrating towards Tel Aviv are losing proposition. El Sayed is the Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate seat, and leader Chuck Schumer may have endorsed Stevens, but is now behind El Sayed. The Democrats and their oligarchs aren't stupid. They know they must recalibrate their message. They are still neoliberal and are still imperialist, and they know that their voters are not. El Sayed is forcing a course correction of a narrative and not different politics. Yeah, I'm glad that she added that at the end, because what I was going to say is I really do feel like it's all performative. Like this struggle here for like the soul of the Democratic Party or what course is going to take, I think it's already settled. I mean, it's just the new generation is not going to come back unless you course correct. Literally, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry to break it to you, but yes, this is I'll pin this one here. Respect to my black people, but respectfully, this isn't about y'all. It's about brown commodores. All right, that's great. Yeah. Perhaps a critique should be directed more towards people who think of themselves as leftists and not at politicians who behave in the way they always have. Bingo. I love this. Absolutely. If it can be said that Obama fooled millions of Democrats, these same people apparently like being fooled because they are swooning over El Sayed with selective amnesia. Oh, Radlibs love this shit, man. Give a Radlib a good character and they're all about it. Look at Grand Planner. They were willing to down that hill until it came out that he was a rapist. That was a rapist against a liberal white woman, to be clear. That was the red line. We should not shrink our political vision because politicians want us to. Our job is to make demands at every stage of the political process. Every candidate must get a thorough vetting, especially from black voters who must free themselves from feeling as though they are locked into a hopeless death spiral with Democrats and instead see themselves as free people who can assert rights of self-determination and make aspiring candidates think twice about selling themselves as something they are not. Politics in the US can make fools of us all if we are not careful. And that's why you must organize with eyes wide open. Black Agenda Report, Glenn Ford. Bernie Sanders endorsed El Sayed, and our late Black Agenda Report co-founder Bruce Dixon coined the phrase sheepdog to describe Sanders. Sheepdogs are herders, and the sheepdog candidate is charged with herding activists and voters back into the Democratic fold who might otherwise drift leftward and outside of the Democratic Party, either staying home or trying to build something outside the two-party box. Question: since Hassan reacts very negatively when he's called a sheepdog for the Democratic Party, do you think he knows who Bruce Dixon is? What's the over-under on that? Let me know, chat. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. The justified revulsion over Israel's genocide and AIPAC's political power should not lead to a Muslim senator who talks a good game to keep the sheep in line, but who in the end cannot stand up to the scrutiny or to the beliefs he claims to hold. There is still time to turn the corner. Al-Sayed needs a high turnout in a swing state in order to win. It is vital that he be told he cannot claim to oppose forever wars and also support the war in Ukraine, especially if he also says he wants Medicare for all. Michigan voters have a duty to themselves not to be hurted by another charismatic and well-marketed personality when they actually need real political leadership. The problem is they'll never find it within the Democratic Party. They'll never find it within the Democratic Party. And this guy's not even pretending to be not in the Democratic Party, how the DSA does that weird shit where it's like, we're a DSA candidate. No, you're a Democratic candidate within the DSA organization. Congrats. But that's the only thing I would add here is like, you're never going to find it in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party should have died when it was endorsing, protecting, funding, arming the Zionist entities' genocide of Palestinians. Do me a favor, y'all. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. Consider becoming a member or sending a super chat, super stickers, gifted subs. Or better yet, check out the Patreon where $2 gets you access to the Discord. There we have the unofficial book club on Saturdays. They're currently on. Meditations on Finance Wretched of the Earth, as well as the article read-alongs on Sundays. And if you want to help support the channel without anyone skimming off the top, check out the Cash App, Deculturation on everything. All right, let's wrap up, y'all. It's 9 p.m. Kind of held it. 2:24. I think the shortest stream I've done in quite some time. My apologies there. All right. But I did warn y'all that, things were going to change a little bit. Growing pains. It's that whole wisdom shit, really coming to haunt me. All right. Remember what Glenn Ford said, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Organize with eyes wide open. Where are we at here? There we go. And as always, we wrap up with John Trudell, the Beast. Appreciate y'all for being here. Sincerely, thank you so much. In a wisp of smoke down on the corner, there was this cat named Fortunately, talking at me from voices in his head, yelling about what storytellers said. You gotta be careful here, child. There's a beast in the promised land. There's madness you don't understand. The beast is crazed and running wild. Little boy, man, little girl, woman, no big deal. Nothing personal. Your mind's another meal. Savoring the rush of you like heady wine. Feeding is what the beast is meant to do. Stranger are those walls built to hide. Stranger to look and learn not to see. He's in the mask you put on your face. Thoughts, his favorite breeding place. In the race to midnight, it's after 11. The nature of the beast is all he knows. Behind doors of hell are gates of heaven. Doors are open, but the gates are closed. Yes, Duel.